Hi, I'm Bill Bishop. I'm the founder of the Aisle 10 Network, and this is a referral network for entrepreneurs. Now, one of our members is Sue Langlois, and she has a company in Toronto called Digi-Notice. And what she does is, on a basic level, she puts monitors, television monitors, into elevators with all kinds of in news and information for people in the condo. That's her main business she's been doing for quite a while. And she also has a program called Building Condomunity. So ultimately, her business is helping the condos build a sense of community in their building. So really interesting business, and I want to help you get to know her because you might want to refer somebody you know to her business, and also get to know her because she may refer people to you as well. So let's have this interview with Sue Langlois. Yeah, so I'm here with Sue Langlois, and she has a company called Digi-Notice, and she's got a really interesting big idea called Building Condomunity. So, Sue, thanks for coming for the interview.
Thanks for having me, Bill. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
So I guess I'll just get started, jump right in.
Yeah, so tell us about your business. Like, what's your business all about?
So Diginotice is an ad-free, done-for-you communication system for condos. So in the Toronto and Ontario condo market, there's a lot of them. There's over 1.5 million people living in them, and there's a shortage of managers. Diginotice uses digital screens in elevators, but we also create the notices that educate people, not just about window washing and fire alarm bells, but the things that cost money. So don't jam the chute. If you burn your toast, leave your door shut, the fire trucks will come. Things that cost money, water, we can run water savings campaigns and typically save a condo 13% off their bill just by educating people about all aspects of life in that building. So we take on that role so the managers can stay busy managing and we take care of communication for them.
That's cool. And so you're located in Toronto, just so everybody knows that, right?
Yes.
And how
So we do
far
the
do you
GTA.
go as far as your reach of your business?
The entire GTA, I think, we were prepared to go further out, but there's a lot of buildings right here in the GTA area. So we're
Uh-huh.
pretty focused on that right now.
Right. So how did you get this business started? What's the history of that?
It's funny because years ago, I was in the broadcast distribution business. I had a company that distributed TV and radio commercials. So that's how commercials got to air, is through a company like mine. And then as time went by, there were bigger people in the industry. I knew I was going to get swallowed up, especially with tech changes. CTV, CBC amalgamated. I'm like, oh, what do I do? So I had this idea of, why don't we put a screen in a condo, and then it's still sort of distribution. Our ad clients can pay to put notices on the advertising on the screens. And two things happened. One, a friend of mine who lived in a condo at the time said, if you put advertising in my home, I'll be very upset. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should listen to her. I've known her since grade 2. Second thing was I joined the Canadian Condo Institute. I actually sat on the board of directors for a while. I joined the Association of Condo Managers of Ontario. So I learned a lot about condominium in the time span that I was looking at. And so I thought, you know what? There's so much information out there to share with people who live in buildings. There's not really a place for ads. Not to mention that a friend of mine who was a media buyer was like, Sue, you know what? It doesn't matter how many. If we don't know the exact demographic of each building, forget about it. I'll sell my clients the 1 million people who are still watching Survivor than I would on your network, no matter how big it was. So I listened to all that advice, and it turned out quite well because now we're very busy and we're helpful. We're helping people do better with communication in the condos.
So basically, your insight was to have advertising would have been a turnoff for people,
yes,
and it wasn't really that big a market for an advertiser, more or less anyway, maybe a local advertiser. So you went a route of helping with the community aspect of the of the communication.
Yes, and
Yeah.
actually the notices that we design are kind of designed like ads. So it's like the condo is kind of advertising for itself
Okay.
by, doing funny notices about, you know, everybody needs their sleep. That's why we keep quiet. So like there's noise notices, don't put your money down the drain. So warning people not to put fat, oils, grease down the drain. But we try to do them in a lighthearted, fun way as much as possible, so people get a kick out of it when they look at the screens. It's not just finger wagging and being told no, no, no. They actually can have fun while they learn more about the Condo Act, the Declaration, and their rules and their bylaws and everything else that goes on in a condo.
Right. So it's sort of, I mean, back in the day, I used to do newsletters, and we had ones that were marketing newsletters for people's customers, but then we also did ones that were internal for the people in the company. Right. And that's
Mhm.
kind of what you're talking about here, I think. It's an internal
Exactly. And
communications tool.
in fact,
Yeah.
if you do have newsletters, we actually take that information,
Yeah.
those little nuggets of what's going on in the building, and
Right.
we'll put those up too. So yeah, it makes a big difference. Newsletter ideas, kind of like a digital newsletter in a
Okay.
way.
So the other thing is that you're actually creating the content then, like you're
Mhm.
kind of the publishers
Yes.
of it.
Yes. So if in one instance, it's very easy. All a manager has to do is add our email address to their list. So when they're sending out an email to all the residents, we get it as well. So we call those the dailies: the window washing, the fire alarm testing, the generator test, the day-to-day, the fan coil inspections, all those sort of things.
Right.
We have templates for. We get that. We put it up. But then every month we'll work with the board and the managers to go, okay, what issues do you need to be addressed? It's like, let's be proactive about communication. Oh, at the beginning of the month we get all these new people moving in. They never know where the recycling bin is, and they don't know this and they don't know. So we'll do a series. Okay, at the beginning of every month we'll run a series, like kind of a get to know your building kind of a series. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe they do want to run a water campaign to save water, so we'll do a whole slew of notices that let people know how much water they're currently using, how much the average user uses, and what they can do. Turn the tap off when you're brushing their teeth. You do that over 200-300 units. That's a big savings in water every month. So we'll do those intense campaigns, we call them,
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah, no, that sounds really good. So let's talk about the building condomunity program. It's sort of like taking all of this to an even higher level. So tell us about that.
So I guess I'm trying to think now. I guess it was last year that I met with you, and learned about the big idea, and we went through that program, and so building condomunity became my big idea. And I think that's worked quite well, because when people ask me what I do, I say, oh yeah, digital screens communication. But when I really stop and think about it, no, what we do is build condomunity, is what I've coined it as.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a sense, and especially since post pandemic, there's a lot of anger, maybe loneliness. People are disconnected and they're looking to be reconnected, I think. So with the building condomunity program, we'll start doing things like, we can take a condo board through a program that says, okay, let's identify your communication. How good are you on a scorecard? Let's identify your community. Do you love it here? Do you like it here? Do you not like it here? All these different things they'll find out about. They go, oh yeah, and sort of a light bulb goes off. They say, we could really improve this, this, this. And there's all sorts of initiatives that will come out of that. So for example, they might like to do sort of a green boutique sort of idea. Like once they start talking about recycling or being green or saving water, a lot of ideas come out of this, and it builds community because you can keep people friendly in the building. And when you do that, they're less likely to cause problems, which in turn costs money, because in a condo, a lot of things do boil down to the buck, like with most things. But if people are happier, they generally cause less issues. One example, we have a pet campaign where we invite people to share a picture of their pet, and we post the pet on the screen. Most boards or managers would never dream to say, hey Sue, can you post pictures of people's pets? But if you go through the building community program, that would come out of the conversation. So, oh, that sounds odd, but let's try it. And it's amazing how people are laughing and joking and getting along in the building when they see everybody's pet. It's remarkable, really, the impact it has. So stuff like that.
Yeah. So what that points to, as far as what you're really doing, is that on face value, it's like, oh, we're putting these monitors in the building and communicating with people. But the real value proposition is that it's actually helping build a sense of community in the building, right? And so
Yes,
you've
and the
always been doing
original.
that, really, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and who knew? And then it's funny because the word condominium comes from like the roots of that, or people working together for a common goal.
Uh-huh.
So let's remind everyone of this instead of battling it out and my neighbor's this, my neighbor's that. Let's get people working together. You can save money, you can have fun, you can enjoy your amenities, say hello to your neighbors, and know what's going on in the building all the time. So it's funny. The screens are a very powerful tool with that as well, because it's kind of the one place everyone in the building will see. So in the old days when we were young, we had 13 channels on TV, so everybody saw the same show the next day. You could all chat about it.
Yeah.
The screens kind of have become the new old-fashioned TV in a way that everybody saw the same source of information. It's not so fractured as it is on phones and all the different streaming.
So that's the shared experience that can help build community
Yes,
just right there, right?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that sounds like the tremendous potential for that. I know I've lived in I never lived in a condo, but I've lived in apartments, and one apartment complex I lived in, they weren't large, but nobody was very friendly. Like nobody talked to each other at all. If you said hello to them, they jump out of their skin, kind of thing. And then the other building I lived in, everybody was really friendly. It had a really friendly culture, and it was a whole different vibe about it. And I don't know how that happened either way, like what that was. But
it's interesting that you mentioned the vibe too, because I think with some condos, some people don't want to interact with others, but still you can create a pleasant vibe in the building.
Right.
So even if they're not going to ever attend the barbecue, they still know what's going on. And one way that we've changed the vibe in some buildings is a security thing. So people who are we always feel shy, like we're going to offend someone if we say, no, you can't come in, I don't know who you are. So you hold the door open for a perfect stranger. We kind of go, it's not rude, it's the rules. And that empowers them to go, hey, if I live here, I know to have my fob in my hand, because I know that the guy next to me is going to be looking for me to have my fob. So you can create a culture which is a lot safer once you have people kind of going, hey, I'm empowered now. I don't have to let that stranger in. People are posing like it's pizza delivery guys and Canada Post people even. I saw that in the news. So creating a culture and a vibe builds the community. It's not always just about, hey, getting people to interact with others, because some don't. So
yeah. You're not trying to get everybody to be buddies or anything. Right. Okay. Well, that's really, really interesting. And it sounds like you've created a really interesting and successful business there. So if someone wants to get started, like if they have a condo or somebody would refer to you, right? What would be the first step that a condo, I guess, manager or board member would do with you?
Basically, they reach out to me. They tell me how many elevators they have. A lot of times I like to go stop by the building, take a look at the elevators, meet the manager in person. I always think doing things face to face is a lot more fun, and you get a lot more information out of it. You get the conversation going, so you can find out a little bit more about their communication goals, any projects they have coming up. So communication will help with that. So really find out more about them, and then literally we just give them a quote for how many elevators they have, and we get them installed usually within a couple of weeks, and that's it, and away we go. Well, and we'll sit there, we'll do a bit of a strategy with them too, so they'll have a communication plan kind of drawn up, and so they can see and know what's going on every month.
Right. Okay. Well, that sounds like a very good process. Yeah. Right. So if anyone wants to be potentially a customer directly with you, we're going to have the information with this video just below the video, with your website address and your email address. They can contact you that way. Yeah. And also, if someone wants to refer you to you through our IL10 program, like if they know someone that runs a condo or whatever, a condo board, they can do the referral, and that would be another way that people could interact with you as well.
Yes, absolutely. That's brand new, fresh off the press, the aisle 10. So absolutely, they can go through aisle 10 and find me there.
Excellent. So, is there any last words that you want to give us? Any? How about one tip on how to build community in a building? Like,
Um, One tip, I think the number one tip I would give people is to get rid of any red circles or X's or capital letters or anything like that. Even if they're still using a cork bulletin board, make things nice. Always put a positive spin on it. So instead of, no, don't jam the chute.
right.
You could do big boxes or a big problem or something, or don't shoot me and show a big giant garbage bag. There's ways to make notices nicer. And when the notices are nicer, it's funny, the people are too.
And then they'll actually not throw stuff down the chute. They
Yeah,
won't
that's
throw their
right. That's
toaster
right.
down there or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've done, top 10 crazy things we've seen down a chute. Like you can make it fun
Uh-huh.
and get people to go, oh, I didn't realize I shouldn't be, wedging my queen size bed frame down that chute.
Yeah, you better watch
So,
out. Somebody's probably, if they haven't already, start a YouTube channel called The Chute, and what can you throw down a chute?
yeah,
What would fit?
there you go.
That's a
You do
YouTube
it.
channel for sure. I'm not doing that one. No.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, anyway,
me
that's
too.
great. So thanks for having this interview, and I'm glad that everyone
Thank
got to know
you.
you better and find out what you're up to. So
Thanks.
thanks a
That
lot,
was
Sue.
fun.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bill.
you're
Take
welcome.
care now.
Yeah.
Bye bye.